Hey everyone, so today for this little video, I'm just going to be doing a tutorial because I discovered something really cool that I want to share with you guys. And that's, I was able to make a background that you can scroll through with your scroll wheel. For example, if I was to cut to a different camera, like this one, we have my mouse right here. We scroll the mouse, and we move. So first things first, we're going to start our new project. Right here, we want to rename our project to whatever you want to use this in. I'm going to name mine Scrolling. Now, we want to go to the costumes, delete everything in the second one, but we don't want to remove the second costume. We're going to go to this costume, and you guys can do whatever you want to this costume. I personally have a costume in my backpack I'm going to use, because I'm not going to make this right now. I named this one Web just because. We're going to name the other costume Blank. As long as what you put into this costume is a rectangle that can fit into this space, this is what you're going to be scrolling through. So what you could do is you could shrink this down a bunch instead and stretch it very tall. And this will also work. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go back here. We're going to take our when green flag clicked block. And we are going to switch to costume blank. We're going to set the size to whatever size fits directly onto the border of our screen. So, let's try 200 here. Oh. But we're not switching back to the normal costume, so we're gonna switch back now. Wrong button. We're gonna switch back now. 200 is good enough. It's kind of good, but not good enough. 300, still not good enough. 400, still not good enough. 500, probably a bit too big, so let's try 475. Too big. 470, just a tiny bit too small, as you can see there. So let's try 445. Okay, let's try 444. Okay, it seems like 443 is our perfect. But that's just for mine. Yours might be different. Now, we want to do something kind of similar with the Y. When green flag is pressed, after we switch to the different size, we want to set the Y position to, let's say for this one, negative 400. Okay, now we're all the way at the top of my... Oh. I forgot about this on this one, so I'm gonna set this to be a bit bigger, and yeah, that's good enough. Now, we want to change this to be a little bit bigger. I mean, a little bit taller up. 450 is not tall enough, let's do 470. 633. That's what I'm going to set mine as. Now this right here is what we want to run whenever green flag is normally clicked. Now, after this, we want to put a repeat forever. And over here, we're going to add when up arrow key pressed, when down arrow key pressed blocks are added. I'm going to add both those. And now, something that you might not have known about Scratch that I've discovered that made me want to make this. I'm going to once again switch to my other camera view. We're back here. So now, we have our mouse here. If we were to scroll, not there, over here, you might notice that switching. If we were to do this, you might not be able to see it, but those are supposed to be, flashing. If I was to say, wait 1 and wait 1 there, then you notice that they're activating from scrolling, which is very important. Now, back here, what we're going to add is we're going to make a new variable, or rename the variable that's already here, whatever you want to. We're going to name this variable count. We're going to change count by -1 whenever the up arrow is pressed, and change count by 1 whenever the down arrow is pressed. Now, you can change these because these determine what direction this moves in when you scroll, depending on which one's negative and which one's positive. So, yeah, you can change that as you wish, but right now, keep it as this. So now what we want to do is we want to count how many times per every couple of milliseconds this is pressed. So if I was to scroll a little bit, you can see that variable changing. We want to see how many times it was pressed every second. Now, there are definitely probably better ways to do this than what I'm about to do, but you can figure that out on your own. This is my version. So, in order to do that, we're going to make some code over here. We are going to detect if the timer variable is greater than our couple of milliseconds. For me, I'm going to do 0.05. There. That is how many times per second we're going to have this check, basically. So now, we want to detect if this is the case. We're going to put in if-then variable block. That's what we're going to do. Sorry, I've never done a tutorial like this, that's this complex before, so... Oh my gosh. I was having struggles saving today. Anyways, so now we're detecting if timer is greater than 0.05, which is our interval rate. If it is greater than 0.05, then we want to reset the timer. Set count to 0. Now we're going to put this in the forever loop over here. Now, if we open up this, you'll see it changing occasionally, and yeah. Now, this value will go up depending on how fast you scroll. Now, if you make the interval larger, you can make it more exact, but this means it'll be updating less times per second, meaning that it will stay scrolling for too long, usually. Now what we want to do is we want to make a list. Let's name this counts. It's going to be a list of all of the counts that we're doing. I want to add, before we set counts to 0, I want to add count to counts. And then I want to delete the third item of counts. Now, you might not know what I'm doing here, but what I'm doing here is basically, whenever we detect that the interval is done, we are going to add this count to the counts list. Deleting the third item of counts will make sure that the list always stays with 2 items in it. Because the third item is always being deleted every time one is added. Now, an issue with this system is that the first item of this list doesn't actually get changed. This new item gets added, it gets added here, and then immediately gets deleted. So what we instead want to do now that we've done that is insert count at 1. So now, we have this. Every time the mouse is moved, it does that. Now, this is very important. What we're doing is we are recording 2 values of the player's mouse moving at different points in time. And we're going to turn this, we're going to find the average of how many times it's moved, like how much it's moved. And we're going to turn this into a speed. So to do this, to find average, we will take item 1 of counts and item 2 of counts. We are going to add them together and divide by the length of counts. Like so. So now what we get is an average amount of movement that we get from our mouse. So, what we're going to do with this is we're going to make a new variable called avg counts. Avg meaning average. We are going to set average counts to our average here. We're going to put that there. So now, if we watch average counts down there, you'll see it changing constantly. But it's a little slow. So, what we're going to do when we have it move is we're going to change the y by average counts times, let's say 20. And now we have our scrolling. Now, issue, we can go off the screen. We can go off the scrolling, which we don't want to do. We don't want to be able to get off of this background. So we're going to hide both of these, and we are going to detect. First, we need to figure out what is the top of this. Well, as we already checked earlier, negative 633. That may be different for you, but what we're going to do is we're going to say if y position is greater than this top position, which is negative, no, wait, also that's x position. So, what we're going to do is we're going to find the y position, and we're going to detect if it is less than negative 673. We're going to put that there, and if that is the case, then we want to set the y position to negative 673. Now if we try scrolling, oh wait, that's right, that was there, 633, not 673. My apologies. So now, we go up here, voila, we can't go above. Now we need to find the bottom, which we can scroll down to get to the rough position of where it is. And we can change. 640, 635, 630, 629, 628, 627, 626, 625. There, that's our bottom. 625. So, if the y position is instead greater than 625, then we want to set the y position to 625. We want to make sure all of this happens in this order. We're going to change the y position, then do the checks, just to make sure. Otherwise, things won't properly work. But now, if we scroll, we are now going up, and now we shall go back down. Now, it may be a little choppy, I do have to admit, but it works. Now, if you want to change the direction that you scroll in, if you want it to be where you scroll up to go down, then you set this one and this to negative 1. Which, obviously, I don't like that. So, I like mine like this. But yeah. That's really all there is to making sure that this works. You can set this background to anything that you want. I'll make this project public so you can copy it if you want. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you find this useful. Thank you. Goodbye. So, there's something I forgot about. Due to the fact that these detection systems, the if variables, take some time, we don't actually want these to be in the same forever loop. We actually want to separate these and put them into separate forever loops. And that's what we want instead. Now, in my case, I use this for different purposes, so I have broadcast a message every time it does this. Which, obviously, you can just... there. That is just so you can make stuff follow your background. You can broadcast a message, so everything that receives the message can go to that background. But yeah. That's just my system. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye.